it's also just putting time back into the forefront, right? And realizing, hey, maybe I only have 2,000 Saturdays left, or maybe I only have 5 Saturdays left. Like really just embracing an idea that we have to do this now and we have to be present in the moment while we're doing it. So for me, it just the reminder of time and it reminds us that it's slipping away and it's happening even as we sleep. And just to bring that back into the forefront is important to me.
But in a good way that we have time. Not everybody gets that or gets that time in life. So
it's not a doomsday clock, right?
It's definitely a privilege, I would say. But I do agree hearing from what MIKKEL said. I think it resonates a lot with what I've been looking at in the last few months. It's the same thing of like, so we're not really talking about the freedom of time in the sense of like you don't have to work or anything. And of course, like if you love your work, that's no separate business. But rather, it's the idea that on a more practical sense, I would say is like, what kind of business or what kind of task can be done on your own time versus the type of business that needs to be done on a fixed time. So my example normally would be like if you run like maybe an agency business that's just focusing on serving clients very quickly, the buffer time between responding to a client becomes a problem because you probably have to respond within 24 hours or 48 hours. So then you're always rushing, right? But on the other hand, if you look at, let's say, something like social media management, maybe, right? You can plan everything on a specific day for the whole month, and then you don't have to touch it, which means that you can choose any one day in the month to do the thing. And after that, you have the flexibility. So it's really the buffer that you have in responding to a certain task. Is that what you guys are looking at as well?
Yes. So it's the freedom to spend the time the way you want to spend it or need to spend it, right? So it's not always responding to emergencies that are coming up, or like clients are calling, or just demands on your time, and being able to, like you said, I think a big part of that is being able to schedule how you live your life and schedule when you respond to clients or to customers, and that just gives you ultimately the freedom.
Yeah, I think to that end though, like also I don't have any boundaries by choice for when I respond to clients. So like, it could be 6:00 in the morning in Paris before we go out for the day. And that's when I choose to reply. It's a holiday weekend in the US. It's Labor Day weekend, or it was until yesterday. And I was sitting down for an hour to respond to a client on Sunday night because we're driving all day to Florida tomorrow. So I'm not going to be able to reply. So like you said, it's like picking and choosing when you get to do what you want to do. And during the pandemic, we really evaluated what we wanted, and these 3 freedoms came up, and Dan decided to start his own business because the time was right, and carpe diem, no time like the present, seize the day. And it allowed both of us to have what we really wanted, which was those 3 freedoms, including time when he could schedule his own things and didn't have to answer to somebody else.
Right. I think there's like 2 interesting segments here. I think the first being, there's a saying that I believe in a lot, is that automation is to time what compound interest is to your money, right? Basically, when we usually work, or the typical employee does a 9 to 5, you are always trying to do the thing that's the most urgent on the day. So you are focusing on the daily, like run of the mill task. But as a business owner, ultimately, what really is going to get you back time is to look at what kind of task can I do today to buy back time for tomorrow. And that's usually a need to, you have to come on consciously think about it, because if you don't, then you're always stuck in the same process of like delivering to clients, and you forget about, say, creating processes or creating a playbook to bring on another employee or things like that, right? So I think that part is really interesting when you look at it from a business, particularly I assume from an agency point of view.
Yeah, it's truly about building those systems, and then how can I get out of the business? So, how can it run itself? And then to your point, how do I onboard other people to just plug into the system, and then the business, if I've done it correctly, the business just then runs itself.
Right. And MIKKEL was saying on the second point is that setting boundaries, right? I think this is also the thing, coming back to the processes as well. It's like, I guess a lot of people have problems. They are who wants to transit to a travel lifestyle or remote lifestyle, the biggest problem that they face is obviously like, how now, what do I do with work, right? If I still have to do a 9 to 5, sometimes that becomes like a hassle to where I want to travel. Of course, it also depends on the travel style. But I also feel like if you want to have time for certain thing that follows your lifestyle that you want, you have to kind of build it in a way right from the start. You have to plan it according to that. So I think setting boundaries is a thing that you have to figure out, like, do I want my core capability or core selling point to be quick responses? If you sell it that way, then of course then you limit yourself to that, right? Or if you sell it based off other things, or like maybe I just want quality clients who are willing to respect boundaries or respect like my time, then that could be something you have to build in right from the start, so you find the right type of clients.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think you just touched on a really important point too, is not selling my time for money, and understanding that I'm selling a service, or I'm selling transformation, or whatever truly I'm selling, but it's not connected to how many hours I put into it.
Right. Yeah, that I think is particularly important, especially when you grow to a certain stage. I feel like hourly basis is a good way to do it if you are not sure about it, like you are just going into the industry and you want to figure it out. That's probably it. But I think the ultimate goal, like you say, is to move towards a model that's that way. And if you talk about looking at a business, so this has been something I've been doing for the last few months, is that as I look at new business opportunity, I always decide, like, can I ultimately take myself out of the business? If I can't, it's always a problem, right? To think about it when your priority is obviously freedom. If that's not, then everything is fine, right? Then there are other considerations to think about.